Sag, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your October shift reading. So we're looking at the shape you're shifting out of this month, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like. So Sag, the image that's coming to me for you before we get into cards, two images. One, I'm getting the image of two people fencing, and when people are fencing, they acknowledge a touch or a hit by saying touché. It's like, because touché means touch in French, I'm pretty sure. So it's like you acknowledge the hit by saying touché, touché. It's like touch was made, or okay, that was a hit. And then like culturally, it's been adapted, at least in the United States, to mean to acknowledge like a witty comment or some sort of truth that was hit upon. Like, touché. Okay, so there's some sort of an acknowledgement of a truth that someone makes apparent to you or that is made clear to you. But it feels like a little, it could be an interpersonal thing, Sag, but it could be also a larger conversation between you and God, or like you and the universe, or you and the powers that be, because you're like, okay, touché. Like I just got my ass handed to me a little bit. Touché. That's what it feels like to me, because then right after that image, I got the image of a giant spaghetti monster in the sky. This image of God or some sort of higher universal power or deity as just like a giant chaos monster. And that feels really Sagittarian in perspective to me. This very goofy image of the powers of the universe as a giant chaos, agent of chaos, or like a giant spaghetti monster. So it's like your relationship with the power, with the chaotic energy of the universe and the chaotic turn of events that kind of hands you your butt and makes you acknowledge the hit. But it all feels like good humor because of the giant spaghetti monster in the sky. So we'll see. Let's look at your cards. We're using the Slow Holler Tarot today. And we're going to start by asking, what is the shape that Sag is shifting out of in October? Whoa, two cards coming out. Yeah. Okay. Specific message here. The Architect of Vessels and the Two of Wands. And I'm actually, the Two of Wands is about making bold moves and strong choices. And what I'm seeing in the Architect of Vessels, basically the Architect of Emotions, because this is Cups energy. I'm actually just seeing quite literally trying to manipulate choices, trying to manipulate your choices or manipulate the energy to have certain outcomes, which is interesting because it's like when we do that, that's when sometimes Saturn, because I felt also like really strong Saturnian energy, like Saturn can kind of show up as your fencing opponent or as the giant spaghetti monster in the sky. Although I don't think Saturn would appreciate being described that way. They would much prefer the fencing opponent. But coming in with a bit of a hit or making contact to remind you that you are not in control. That's what I'm trying to say. To remind you that you are not in control in a big way. Yes, there are certain things that we have agency over in this world, but there are certain ways that we cannot try to manufacture a certain outcome in a situation. And I think that's where you're like, touché. Maybe. Because I'm getting with this Architect of Vessels and like the octopus is almost like the giant spaghetti monster in the sky. And it's sort of mimicking the way these branches are growing growing upwards. It's like you're trying to sort of manipulate the forces of the universe to do your bidding, because Two of Wands can also talk about willpower, like wanting to channel your willpower, which is a really useful and like worthy endeavor. But also we're in Mars retrograde, you know, if Mars is willpower and the desire to act on something and have a clear effect, channeling that fire energy or you know, then Mars retrograde is asking us to reevaluate our relationship to that energy. I think you're just realizing like the giant spaghetti monster in the sky is like, you can't control me. Stop trying. Interesting. Let's learn more. What is the shape Sagittarius is shifting into in October? I love reading for Sag. Okay, wow. The Kindred. This is the Empress in traditional decks. You know what, Sag, I think you're tucking in. That's what I'm feeling. It's like, all right, tuck in. You can't necessarily change this situation. Like, this is not a situation in which you can exercise your will. And I think you're, whatever that is for you, and I think you're realizing that. And it's like, tuck in. Tuck in. Nestle into those that you love, to family, to friends, to the people that nurture you. And, you know, because I'm like really focusing on the bear coming in and being like, all right, I'm going to hibernate. I'm going to hibernate. I'm going to cook good food. I'm going to cuddle up and get cozy. I'm going to make this home amazing. You know, it's like that kind of a thing. Okay, because, you know, when faced with the realization that there are larger things at work, that you can't control the larger forces of chaos that are happening around you, and that could even be collectively speaking, you know, the things that are happening globally, socially, there are certain ways that we can have an effect, you know, like we can have an effect on this pandemic. I think this came through Libra reading. Like, we can wear masks and protect ourselves and others. We can limit our exposure and limit the ways that we expose others by socializing 6 feet apart outdoors instead of going inside the house with someone. You know, like there are ways that we can have an effect. And then there are like ways that we can't control what other people do, which have a larger social effect. Okay? So I'm getting that this Kindred is tucking in with your intimate people that you trust and love in your intimate space, and getting cozy with with your immediate surroundings, which you can have more of an effect over. Okay, let's see what this shapeshift looks and feels like for Sagittarius in October. Okay, I was hoping for 2 cards and they just fell right out. The Oracle and the Ace of Stones. Again, this Oracle energy is High Priestess energy. High Priestess energy brings in the mystery. It brings in this, the things that we can't control. You know, it tunes us in to the more mysterious aspects of life that are unseen, that happen below the surface, that again, we sometimes try to conjure up and bring up into our hands so that we can you know, mold or shape or direct the situation. But the reality is, with the Priestess, you see this Oracle just has open hands. There's an open-handed acceptance of, I love that the moon is here too. There's an open-handed acceptance of the mystery, of the things we just cannot know and cannot control. Like, you know, I'm getting some emotional energy, since this is the Queen of Cups, or the architect of water, and this is, the moon is emotional, internal energy. I think it's like once you pull out of this Mars energy of wanting to direct your willpower in such a specific way in order to control things around you. It's like, then you can pull into the internal space, the oracle. You can drop into the more intuitive, emotional space and release. You know, let go. It's almost like there's almost a surrender to the flames happening here. Surrender to Mars retrograde, actually, could be very specifically what this is saying. And you will find a new way of working. Ace of Stones, which I love, because it's like, then you'll be able to actually focus on what is tangible. Because there is raw materials around. I'm seeing this as clay. There are raw materials around you for you to pick up in your hand and shape into something beautiful. Notice how the colors of these cards is so similar, and the colors of these cards is so similar, because this is the shift. See that? This is the shift. It's quite stark. Realizing that you can't actually use your willpower to control everything, and surrendering to that mystery. And then that suddenly you awaken to a new opportunity. Ace, new energy, a new realization of what you actually can have an effect on. Oh, okay, well, I can busy my hands on this task, this tangible, concrete thing that's right in front of me. And that is being shown in this larger energy of the kindred. It's like, it reminds you, you are surrounded by abundance. Like directly, you know, you don't have to seek outside, try to pull it in from somewhere outside. It's right there, tangibly, right around you. This is a shift into earth energy, which is a focus on more tangible human experience, physical reality. It is a bit of a touché type reality check here, coming from a much larger force, much more powerful, I think, than all of us. Okay, wow, Sag. Nice reading. I am now going to move this into an extended reading where we get some deeper clarity. We'll use some other decks and really dive into this reading. So if you'd like to join me for that, click the link in the description box below, and that will take you over to Patreon. Patreon is an online community I've created for folks who like my work and want to dig deeper. If that sounds like you, head on over there. Please read the description when you get there so you know how to receive your extended, and I will send you the rest of this reading for October. All right, Sag, take care. Maybe you're not seeing the forest for the trees here, and maybe that attachment to what you want or what you desire is a little bit short-sighted. For some reason, this energy is coming through as short-sightedness that's actually keeping you bound and stuck. And the realization, okay, so you're basically like, universe, I want this. And then it feels like it's a no, right? It's like Saturn comes in and is like, okay, I've looked at your request and it's a no. And you're like, why? You know, and Saturn's like, because I can see things that you can't see, and I'm bringing you probably something that is more right for you. And it's actually going to liberate you from the current limitations that are surrounding what you think you want.